Like this company that is being sued here, they've been sued for misrepresentation, lying to the homeowners, equity stripping, right? If you don't know what equity is the difference between what you owe to the lender and what you can sell the property for. Now that one, it's absolute garbage, obviously, because most of these homeowners that we deal with off market as real estate investors is properties that are so distressed that even the realtors themselves, they don't want to list these properties on the market, guys. All right. Real estate wholesaling crackdown, guys. People are actually ending up in jail, locked up for wholesaling real estate. You better watch out. We as human beings, we always think it only happens to others until it lands on our doors. Guys, right now you can go Google it. There is a big company in Arizona that are wholesalers that right now they're being sued by the Attorney General Myers. You guys can go read it for yourself, and it says they're being sued for defrauding Arizona homeowners, right? So guys, if you're considering getting into real estate via wholesaling in 2025 and you're an absolute newbie because you heard that the real estate wholesaling strategy, you don't need credit and you don't need license, you want to watch this video until the end because I'll show you exactly how you can avoid these gray lines before you end up in jail, like one of the investors, the short sale queen Espinoza, or this company right now being sued for all the real estate wholesaling deals they have done because of malpractices. All right, guys. So if you don't know my name is Mamadou Diallo, full-time real estate developer. But that's not where I started. I started my journey actually through real estate wholesaling over 6 years ago, and then I transitioned into fix and flips, then did the buy and holds. Now we're doing real estate new development, but we're still wholesale, guys. We literally just closed our last wholesale deals not even 3 days ago, literally. All right, guys. So first thing first, what's happening within the wholesaling industry? What's happening within the wholesaling industry, guys, is that there's too many bad apples. What I mean by bad apples, it's because the industry doesn't require credit and it doesn't require a license. Everybody and their moms can also get in. So by default, the industry attracts a lot of what we call fly-by-nighters, overnight get-rich-quick scheme type of mentality, folks. Why am I bringing that up? Because what they're saying in these lawsuits is that you have people going around calling distressed homeowners on their properties and taking advantage of them by first lying to them, misrepresentation. So right now, a lot of the states, obviously, guys, I'm not a legal attorney. This is not legal advice, full disclosure. So you need to consult your own attorney in your own local state and make sure you comply with your local laws. The laws are changing. The game has completely shifted, right? But a lot of people are calling homeowners and misrepresenting themselves. I'll give you an example. So let's say you call a homeowner, especially pre-foreclosures, which is one of my favorite niches. These are homeowners that are in high distress because they're about to lose their home to the auction because for whatever reason they haven't paid their mortgage for a couple of months. They're going through financial challenges, stress, divorce, a family member passed away. And so you have within the wholesaling industry people calling these homeowners and then misrepresenting themselves and saying, hey, I am here to save you out of foreclosure. I'm here to help you stay in your home. And then at the end of the day, they don't do exactly what they just said on the phone. They end up either buying the home, putting the homeowner under contract, and then assigning that contract. So by definition, what the law is saying, you just lied and misrepresented yourself. So the first step to avoiding having that gray line is just brutal honesty. If you call a homeowner that is going through foreclosure, high distress, like my team does, fully disclose you're a local home buyer, you're looking to buy this property. If you plan on wholesaling it, make sure you actually tell them that you plan on wholesaling the property to somebody else. Hey John, I'm calling you about your property on 123 Main Street, but just so you know, I will not be the buyer on this. I have my friend Christopher who buy properties and renovate them, put them back on the market and sell them for a profit. So if I am able to work out a deal with you and put you on the contract and then send the deal, send this opportunity to my friend Christopher, he will pay me a fee for it. Are you okay with that? Because I plan on making money on this, right? Something like that. So full disclosure, brutal honesty. The reason most wholesalers doesn't do this, guys, is because they think that if they do this, if they're super honest with the seller, brutal honesty, that the seller is not going to work with them, they're going to back out. You know what we found? Actually is the absolute opposite. Every single time you are highly, brutally honest with a homeowner, they actually respect that. Who doesn't like honesty? It doesn't exist. Everybody like honesty. So I remember when I first started, I used to call homeowners, and when they asked me a question that I don't know, my favorite answer was, hey, listen, that is a fantastic question. I don't know the answer to this question, but give me an hour. I'll call my partner who has way more experience than me, and I'll come back with an answer. Or if you want, even better, I'll get him on a three-way so he can explain exactly how it works. So that's the first thing. Like this company that has been sued here, they've been sued for misrepresentation, lying to the homeowners, equity stripping, right? If you don't know what equity is the difference between what you owe to the lender and what you can sell the property for. Now that one, it's absolute garbage, obviously, because most of these homeowners that we deal with off market as real estate investors is properties that are so distressed that even the realtors themselves, they don't want to list these properties on the market, guys. All right. By the way, if you don't know, I've done a whole interview with 40 plus years attorney Michael Gross talking about this specific topic, and we're about to do the second episode, and he's gonna address all these issues. So make sure you check out that on my YouTube channel here. But guys, that is absolute garbage, because in order for you to have equity on the property, obviously the property need to be fixed up. So if you have a property and after the property is fixed up, the property is worth $400,000, but right now the way the property is, it needs $100,000 of work before you can be able to sell it for $400,000, then obviously you don't have equity. Most of these homeowners we actually deal with off market, they don't want to deal with a realtor. Most of them are too ashamed to list their property because the property is distressed. They don't want their neighbor to see how trash their property is. Most of these homeowners that are going through pre-foreclosure, they don't want their neighbor John realizing that, man, my neighbor is struggling financially and haven't paid their debt for a couple of months. They don't want people in their businesses. And so when you call them off market, the reason they're working with you off market, it is because it is seamless, it is fast, it is as is. They don't even have to flush the toilet. And typically the wholesalers that are ethical go above and beyond. Like my team and I, there's been sellers where we go to the property, we bring a U-Haul, we help them move, we find a hotel for them, we find an apartment for them, we connect them with people to help them fix their credit, right? But the language they use is so vague that if you don't pay attention, it's going to be tough to know if you're compliant or you're not compliant. So this company has been sued for even having people going and door knocking, right? The doors of those homeowners that are in foreclosure. They included the title companies, the attorneys that actually handle these closings are also included in this lawsuit. Every wholesaler involved within any joint venture, whether you bought a deal from them or you sold them a deal, like they've involved everybody. So you better watch out in 2025 to make sure first, in your state, does it require a license now to wholesale? That's the first thing. You have states like South Carolina, now they require it. Arizona requires it. And you have to disclose also when you call a homeowner that you're an actual wholesaler if that's your plan. You have to go and read this, guys. I promise you. Don't think it only happens to others. It is absolutely going to land on your door. They're aggressively coming after wholesaling, regulating it. If you ask me, it is a fantastic thing that they're doing this, because it's going to get rid of all these fly-by-nighters that don't take this business seriously as a business. They're not committed to the real estate business. All they want to do is get into this business, get a $10,000 assignment. They don't care about what the seller is going through. They genuinely don't want to help the homeowner. They make a 10K, go to Vegas, gamble it, or go to Puerto Rico, then come back 6 months later and then get another 10K, and then just taking advantage of homeowners. I cannot tell you guys how many homeowners my team and I have talked to that actually almost lost their home at the auction because a newbie wholesaler that don't know what they're doing, don't know how to comp a property, don't know how to make the right offer, put them under contract with the wrong numbers and took that property and start shopping it around on Facebook, Craigslist, and couldn't find a buyer. And then at the last minute, the homeowner ended up losing that home at the auction because the wholesaler wanted to make a $10,000 fee instead of going to somebody that knows how to comp a property, help them comp the property, come up with the right offer so they don't make a whole family or an elderly lose their home at the auction, because this is real life for these people, right? The way you hire people matters now. You can end up in court by having like bird dogs. Bird dogs is somebody who sees a property and then they send you the address and then you pay them for that. You can get sued for that. You can get sued for calling the homeowner misrepresenting yourself. And here is a major one you can get sued for as well, which is included within this lawsuit. It is the wholesalers, and there is a bunch of them that don't know how to negotiate. They don't want to do the follow-ups. So what they'll do is they'll call a homeowner and the homeowner will say, hey, I want $300,000 for my property. But really, if you know how to run your numbers, you will realize based on the work that the property needs and based on all the fees that it's going to cost to sell the home in the back end, you should be at 150 if you were to buy this property cash. Also based on what the lenders will lend you for as a buyer on this property. So the wholesaler, being lazy, doesn't want to follow up with the homeowner, doesn't know how to negotiate, but is also not wanting to go find somebody that have more experience, help him negotiate the deal so they can split the fee. No. They'll be like, okay, I'll give you the $300,000. They'll put the seller under contract, and then guess what? They'll go to the county and file what is called a memorandum. If you guys don't know what a memorandum is, if you file that on the property, typically it is because the wholesaler says, I am trying to protect my interests so that the seller don't go behind me, try to sell the property to somebody else, or accept, a different offer the next day that somebody offered them $100 more. To protect my interests, I'm gonna go at the county and I am going to file a memorandum. And what a memorandum does on the property, guys, it clouds the title. That means if the next day the homeowner have a legit buyer who's able to close on the property, have the money, well, guess what? They cannot sell the property to that person, because whatever title company or title attorney the homeowner try to use, they're gonna go online, do the title search, and see, oh, somebody has a claim on this property. Unless they take this off, we can't close. Now imagine that happened to us with multiple homeowners that was stuck with a wholesaler that we cannot find, cannot perform. They filed memorandum, but they don't want to release the lien, so we can't buy the property at all, and the homeowner is stuck with it. All right, guys, so avoid filing memorandum. If you negotiate with a homeowner, you guys agree on the price, and the next day they decide to back out. How about you look at yourself, you go, okay, what haven't I done right? Maybe there's one of the steps of the process that I didn't explain properly. Maybe the homeowner is confused. Maybe they don't trust me. Maybe I didn't explain something properly. How about I try that? Or if they really don't want to work with you because they don't trust you and they insist, just let them go. There's enough deals for everybody. Why try to force the homeowner to work with you? So I feel like all these new regulations is going to get rid of all these bad apples, and then there's going to be a bunch of deals for the people that are actually trying to be professionals and go all in into this business and are actually real estate investors. Remember, guys, when you're wholesaling, you're not a real estate investor. You're just a middleman. You're just somebody who's getting a contract and then selling it off for cash. The investor is the person that takes title. Another thing that will help you actually avoid any gray lines whatsoever is from day one, if you can just fix your credit, guys, and go find a hard money lender, get pre-approved, tell the hard money lender, listen, I am calling off market deals, distressed homes that I'm putting under contract all the time. Can I get pre-approved for a certain amount to buy these distressed homes based on my credit profile? Guys, it doesn't even reflect on your personal credit. They will just look at your credit just to make sure, obviously, you're not a douchebag to lend money to. But if you get pre-approved, what's going to happen is if you and the homeowner agree on a price that makes sense, you can actually close and take title, and then the next day you can resell it. It's called a double closing. You can just close on the property. Now you're a legit investor because you took title, and then you decide to do whatever you want with it. And you know what's funny, guys, is that the properties we've wholesaled on the MLS, we've always made more money. When I say wholesaled, meaning we close on it and then we put it back on the MLS as is without fixing it and reselling it to somebody else. We've made more money than trying to sell just the contract off market to a cash buyer without ever buying the property. So guys, watch out. They're coming. Regulations are here. Most states now require a license, requires that you disclose if you're wholesaling, right? So make sure you comply with your local laws, especially if you're touching creative finance deals too, subject tos. And I've made a whole video talking about that, so check out my creative finance channel. But you better watch out if you're doing those deals as well, because in this lawsuit, subject to creative finance deals that they were doing was also included. So consult your attorney, fix your damn credit, guys. The U.S. economic system and the financial banking system revolves around credit. Fix your credit. Stop listening to a bunch of gurus teaching garbage, telling you don't need credit. You absolutely need credit. That same guru telling you that, they have an 830 credit score. Get your credit right. Go get pre-approved, build relationships, get private lenders, get transactional funding so you can double close on these properties. And more importantly, you better choose right the person you're learning this strategy from in 2025, because most of these gurus, I promise you, they already stopped doing real estate in the 1960s. The only way they're making money now is by selling you a mentorship ticket, and they have absolutely no shame. They don't care if you end up in jail. So guys, you're not an attorney. Stop calling pre-foreclosure sellers and try to assist them to file bankruptcies, stop the auction, pause the auction. And this is a two-side coin. One, you have all these gurus, over 55% of them are from Arizona, by the way. way, they're teaching a bunch of garbage to people that don't know any better, right? If you don't know, you don't know. If somebody's teaching you and saying, hey, in order for you to make money with a pre-foreclosure homeowner, go and help them stop the auction, pause the auction, and you're new, obviously you don't know. But the second thing also is at some point you gotta have self-accountability and start using your brain and go, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this, because most of these ways to help this homeowner stop this auction actually requires normally a licensed attorney. They should normally go through a licensed attorney. You're not an attorney, so stay away from it. You're just trying to buy homes. So if they need assistance to keep their homes and do loan modifications and bankruptcies, just connect them with an attorney, have them call an attorney and deal with it. And if they ever change their mind and are ready to sell, then tell them, hey, I'm here to buy, keep me in your back pockets. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking about what's happening within the wholesaling industry in general. What do you plan on doing? Is your state changed the laws already where you do need a license to wholesale, guys? But until next time, make sure you keep that boom mentality, be bold, be obsessed, be optimist, and lastly, keep that mindset abundant. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Boom, boom, boom.